She lectured us about democracy. She lectured us about justice. She lectured us about who belongs in America and who doesn't. For 8 years, Ilhan Omar has stood at her podium in the United States Congress, a Congress she sits in as an allegedly fraudulent citizen, and she pointed her finger at Americans, at Trump, at the very country that rescued her from a war zone. But this week, everything changed, because now it's not just the DOJ looking at her. It's not just the House Oversight Committee. It's not just Vice President J.D. Vance confirming on national media that he knows she committed immigration fraud. No. Now it's a foreign nation getting involved. They just sent a message to the Department of Justice that's sending chills down Ilhan Omar's spine. We're not talking deportation anymore. We're now officially talking, I kid you not, extradition. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, celebrating yet another glorious day in Trump's golden age that you made possible back in November 2024. So if you want a front row seat on how you continue to change the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You know, we always knew things were eventually going to catch up with the ultra-repulsive third worldist Ilhan Omar for years. The allegations against Omar have been sitting there like a ticking time bomb in plain sight. Conservatives raised it, independent journalists documented it, and every single time the legacy media looked the other way. They called it a conspiracy theory, or they screamed even worse, Islamophobia. But here's what they can't scream away. Here's what no amount of media spin can cover up anymore. Vice President J.D. Vance sat down with Benny Johnson just this past week, and he said in plain, unmistakable, on-the-record English what we've all known all along.
Yeah, so we actually think that Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud against the United States of America. And I talked to Stephen Miller about this actually recently. We're trying to look at what the remedies are. That's the thing that we're trying to figure out is what are the legal remedies now that we know that she's committed immigration fraud? How do you go after her? How do you investigate her? How do you actually do the thing? How do you build the case necessary to get some justice for the American people? There's a related issue, Benny, which is she has been at the center of a lot of the worst fraudsters in the Somalian community. So do I know that Ilhan Omar was aware that the Quality Leering Center was defrauding the American people? I'm not certain of it. But we at least need to investigate it, because if people can commit wrongdoing without even the fear that they're going to be found out, that's a fundamental problem. So I'm worried about the immigration fraud. I'm also worried about what did Ilhan Omar know about what was happening in the Somali community, and why was nobody looking into it until, frankly, Donald Trump came along?
Now, most Americans know the basic outline of the marriage fraud allegation, right? These allegations that Omar married her brother to commit immigration fraud originated from a post on a Somali American internet forum back in 2016. Omar married Ahmed Elmi back in 2009. He's a British citizen who attended North Dakota State University. He studied fine arts there. Very little was actually publicly known about him, but they ended up divorcing. And when she had a child with her new husband, there were apparently Instagram posts from Elmi, her former husband, calling Ilhan Omar's newborn daughter his niece, implying that he was Omar's brother, right? Her child's uncle. And it was a weird marriage. If you don't know, she was married before that to a guy named Ahmed Hirsi. They separated, they supposedly divorced, and then she married this guy, Elmi, who again, we're told the whole Somali community knew was her brother. And then oddly, they divorce after a very short marriage, and after he migrates to the States, and then she gets together again with her original husband. It's really odd stuff. Well, the Daily Mail recently reported that a Somali community insider, Abdi Hakim Osman, he went on the record saying Omar herself told friends that the man who became her second husband, this Ahmed Elmi, was actually her brother. According to Osman, this Somali leader, Omar said she had to do what she had to do in order to get papers so he could stay in the United States and go to school. Osman describes Elmi showing up in Minneapolis from London, being introduced by Omar as her brother, and then suddenly, quietly, became her legally registered husband. So these are the allegations that she's never adequately cleared up. Well, now the latest bombshell is actually coming from the Republic of Somaliland. I kid you not, the official government account just dropped what they are saying are actual receipts. They're claiming that Omar's real name was always Elmi, right? The same last name as the guy she married. And the reason the family is called Omar is because Ilhan's father, a former Somali military colonel named Nur Saeed Elmi, changed the family name to conceal their true identity when they immigrated to the United States. And that's because, according again to the Somaliland officials, between 1981 and 91, the Somali military executed what's known as the Izak genocide, which was a brutal, systematic campaign targeting the Izak people, who are now the people of the Republic of Somaliland. Over 200,000 civilians were killed. It was utterly horrific. Cities were bombed from the air. Villages were burned. Water sources were mined. It was described really as one of the worst atrocities on the African continent in the 20th century. And Ilhan Omar's father, Colonel Nur Saeed Elmi, served as a senior officer in the very Somali military that carried this genocide out. He was a propagandist, surprise, surprise, for the Marxist regime that ruled at the time. And so when that regime fell in 1991, what did the family do? They fled, but they didn't flee because they were oppressed. They fled precisely because they were the oppressors. You can't make this stuff up. And they weren't about to stick around and face the consequences. So they changed their name, right? They split the family between the United States and the United Kingdom. They told American immigration officials that they were just innocent refugees, and they walked right in. Apparently, the Obama DOJ, this is according to Somaliland officials, they had access to this evidence all along, and they refused to investigate. That is, until now. We are indeed witnessing a historic turning point as President Trump leads a righteous crusade to finally liberate the world from the terrorist state of Iran. A much more sinister war is being waged right here on our own soil. While our commander-in-chief moves with decisive strength to demolish the Iranian war machine, obliterating their military hubs like Karg Island to protect global freedom, he's being systematically undermined by the enemies within. These anti-Trump shadow state radicals are desperate. They see the president winning. So they're manufacturing a domestic crisis to try and break the spirit of the American patriot. They want the dollar in flames and your life savings frozen in the crossfire of their manufactured economic blackout. Their goal is to force you into a state of financial submission where the shadow treasury controls every penny you own. The question is, will you wait until the bank holidays start, or will you launch your family finance defense today? You must act now to move your savings into a territory these radicals cannot touch, and that is cryptocurrency. And you can build your financial fortress right now by using Block Trust IRA. I'm a proud client of Block Trust, and I've seen their amazing Animus AI platform work firsthand. Their 24/7 Animus AI has consistently outperformed Bitcoin by over 250% since 2020 by navigating the exact volatility these saboteurs are trying to create. While the world panics, Block Trust IRA's $200 million institutional-grade insurance shield defends your wealth, ensuring your life's work remains out of reach from the shadow state. Now, to help you launch your defense, Block Trust IRA is authorizing a $2,500 family finance defense bonus to be added to your new crypto IRA the moment you sign up, to use right away. Head on over to turleytalkscrypto.com right now and schedule a confidential discussion with their crypto AI experts. Share this link with every patriot you know. It's time for a collective family finance defense. Act now to defend your family and your future. That's turleytalkscrypto.com to safeguard your family's prosperity today. The Republic of Somaliland's official government account responded directly to Ilhan Omar's denial of the immigration fraud allegations, and they did not mince words. They wrote this, quote, "Careful now, daughter of the colonel. It's true. All of it. We've got the receipts. And they're looking extra right now. Might be time to talk extradition." And in another post responding to calls for Omar to be deported, they wrote, quote, "Deportation? Please, you're just sending the princess back to her kingdom. Extradition? Haha, say the word." Daughter of the colonel. They know who she is. They've always known who she is. Now, here's where I want to slow down for a second here and be real with you, because obviously, I know many of you are thinking, Dr. Steve, we've heard this before. Every few months, someone says Omar's finally done, but nothing happens. I get it. No question. I really do. And I'm not here to promise you a specific outcome in this. What I am here to tell you is that something is fundamentally different this time, because three things have happened simultaneously that have never happened before, and they're all converging together in a way that I assure you is absolutely panicking Ilhan Omar. Number one, the sitting vice president of the United States just came out on record by name saying that she, quote, definitely, not likely, not probably, she definitely committed immigration fraud. And he confirmed that the administration is actively working on legal remedies and ramifications. That's not a random congressman saying it. That's the number two man in the country. All right, so that's number one. Number two, a foreign government has officially stepped into all of this. They've officially stepped forward as a willing partner for extradition. The Republic of Somaliland is a pro-American, partially recognized state in the Horn of Africa. They have historical grievances against Omar's family that are personal, and they want justice too, and they're willing to help the DOJ get it. And then number three, and this is the big one, if you don't know, the Trump administration just successfully denaturalized U.S. citizens just this month. So a court recently ruled that a naturalized American has indeed had his citizenship revoked because he concealed crimes before naturalization. The DOJ just announced this days ago. So when Omar's office tells you she's protected because she's a citizen and a sitting congressman, yeah, sorry, that ship sailed. That ship's gone. Because here's what federal law actually says. Naturalization can be revoked if it was obtained through willful misrepresentation of concealment of a material fact. The standard of proof is high, to be fair. It requires a formal DOJ civil case and a federal judge's ruling. But as we just saw, it is absolutely possible. The Trump DOJ made denaturalization one of its top enforcement priorities of 2025. And the USCIS, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services field offices, have been ordered to submit hundreds of denaturalization referrals per month throughout 2026. You heard that right, hundreds per month. And the key here is that Omar allegedly committed immigration fraud not once, but twice. So first, when her family deliberately changed their name and lied about their identity to enter the United States as refugees. And then secondly, when she allegedly married her brother in the UK in 2009 to help him gain residency in this country. Both of those acts, if proven, are textbook grounds for denaturalization. So, ladies and gentlemen, after years of waiting, it looks like somebody finally might be held accountable, not just for her antics at the border, but most especially, at least for me, for her appalling, unashamed, brazen attacks on our nation. The walls are closing in from Washington, and from Hargeisa, we should say, the capital of Somaliland, as I just learned. Butter the popcorn, gang, and don't go anywhere, because this story is just getting started. In a world that never stops spinning, Monday night is where we slow down and think together. Members only live Q&A. Links below.